Hey friend, let's talk about your amazing God-given brand and the mindset you need to stand out in a crowded job market. Whether you want to launch, pivot, or move up in your career, we're going to tackle this together. Meet up with me each week to help you get confident, get noticed, and get hired. I'm Patricia Ortega, and this is the Uncommon Career Podcast. All right, friends, today we have a really exciting interview with Kate Speer. Kate Speer is a marketing professional, and she basically took everything she knows about marketing and all the experience she would normally put in text on her resume, and she built a marketing campaign complete with a website, videos, a podcast, and a marketing campaign on LinkedIn that is getting a ton of traction. So I'm super excited. I don't want to take any more on the introduction, but just know that this episode is really cool. You want to stay all the way to the end because I also give her just a little bit of coaching that I think might help you as well. And really, I mean, she was a blessing to us. It sounds like we were a blessing to her, and I'm super excited for you to listen in. For everybody listening, I'm so excited to introduce Kate. Today, we're going to talk about just Kate's career story. She's going to be able to share all of that with you. She'll also be talking about why she made the decision to market her professional experience in this unique way. And we're going to talk about the type of response she's gotten and how you can get a response like this as well. So Kate, start us off with your career story.
Sure. So my career story is pretty unique. I feel like I have a pretty diversified background. I'm traditionally trained marketer. So that's what I went to college for. And that's what I did kind of right out of school. And I went back to grad school for a little bit for counseling psychology. I thought for a little bit in my early 20s that I wanted to be a school counselor so that I could help people. Back in my 20s, I didn't quite realize yet that you can actually help people through business if you're doing it right and creating connections with people. So I went to school for counseling psychology, loved that. I feel like I used that in so much of what I did as a marketer and what I'm doing now, but I loved business and I felt like business was kind of always calling me back. So I was a Zumba instructor for almost 10 years and ended up owning a Zumba studio for 3 years. And having that background when you own a small business really gives you kind of the ins and outs of everything. When I ran my business, I mean, I was doing our payroll, I was building our website, I was teaching the classes, I was building the processes to train my staff, I was cleaning the floors in the bathrooms after everybody left. So it's like you kind of do it all, which makes, I think, just a really unique background for myself in that, like, there's no job too big or too small. I'm never too good to do anything. You just dive in and get done what you need to get done.
Absolutely.
So I started then doing some freelance work, and that led me to my last position where I was VP of Marketing Engagement and Investor Relations for a flatbed trucking company. And there I oversaw pretty much all aspects of marketing, everything from social media to our press releases to internal communication. But my favorite part really was about engagement, driving engagement with our drivers that drove for us and for our employees there, and really just building connections with people. So that's kind of the quick story of my career background and what's led me to where I am right now.
That is awesome. So it's good to see, I used to be a faculty member. Actually, I was a counselor at a community college, and I used to always tell students, every discipline is related to every other discipline.
Yes.
And so if you think, what can I do with a psychology degree? I mean, you're just a living, walking example of you can do plenty, and it doesn't have to be, within the social sciences just because it's a social science degree. So
yes. And actually, probably up until about 5 years ago, I thought my background wasn't very cohesive. I'm like, it's kind of all over the place and there's different things, but really it ties together really nicely. I mean, when you know how to connect with people through the psychology part, it makes you a much better marketer. It makes you a much better communicator. And even like teaching Zumba, I know how to, bring energy to a room and make people excited to be a part of whatever it is that we're doing. So it all kind of ties together pretty nicely.
Absolutely. I mean, psychology is becoming such a cornerstone of the marketing world that I can see it blending beautifully. So, okay. So tell me, you've got this, in some ways it could be seen as an eclectic career, but you've done a really nice job of bringing everything together and then sort of marketing it. So what drove you to that decision to say, hey, I'm a marketer, so I'm going to literally market my professional experience in ways that you don't really see too often yet? Okay, this might be a good time to let you know that in the description, there are links to Kate's website, to her podcast, the video that's on her website, and then also to her LinkedIn account. So if you want to check those out, head over to the description.
Yes. So a few things kind of went into that. So I always say I'm a little extra at work. And it's like, if somebody asks me for A and B, I'm going to give you A, B, C, D, E, F, probably things you haven't even thought of yet. But that's just kind of how I've always worked. So I know the job market is tough right now. It's so hard to be a candidate. You look on LinkedIn, a job posting goes up and there's like 200 applicants. And it's like, how do you stand out from that? So I really wanted to make a way that I could stand out for myself. And just being a marketer, it's like, okay, well, if I say on a resume that I'm a good marketer, how much better is it if I can show you? So, it's one thing to say it, but if I can show you and kind of put some proof in the proof is in the pudding that I can actually do what I say that I can do. Let's do that and put it together. So coming from an executive position too, I had also interviewed a lot of people over the years. And I know sometimes people interview well and you think they're going to be this amazing rock star.
And then
they show up and maybe not quite as advertised. So I also was looking at this as a way to really just kind of not only stand out, but almost an insurance policy that I am as described, and what you see is actually what you are going to get when I work for your company. So I put all of that together and it just to kind of showcase everything that I could do, but it's also like a nice living resume that people can go and look at and check out and learn about me. And there's a video on there with me, which I think is so important to just kind of build connection. People can see my face and hear my voice, and it just kind of brings that resume to life. It adds some character to it. So that's kind of why I just wanted to be proactive, really showcase what I can do, showcase my skills, and do so in a way that was positive and could stand out from the crowd.
Well, it definitely did stand out, right? I mean, I saw it, and immediately when I saw it, I was like, this is different, and it got me to take a look. And I'm not even in the market for a marketer. I'm not trying to hire someone with this skill set, but even still, I was like, this is new. This is interesting. And so one of the things that I'm curious about is you made a decision to market your professional experience this way. What have you learned from the process, both professionally, but also that you can share with folks across other industries?
Sure. So a few things there. One, so it's scary to market yourself. I've never actually quite done that. I've marketed businesses. I've marketed people that I've worked with, like other people, even when I own my own business. Like I said, it was a Zumba studio. It was not Kate's Zumba studio. It was called Studio Fit. And even when I owned that, it was always like, I would tell people, I'm more of the director. All of you guys are the stars of the show. It's not about me. It's about you. So putting myself out there and marketing myself is scary. It's a very different feeling. So I guess what I learned from that and advice to other people would really be to not be afraid to put yourself out there. It is scary, but I think it's worth it. It's worth it to build something that you can stand out. And that's a site that I'll have even after I land my next career home, just to kind of continue to showcase what I can do for people. So I learned, that it's scary, but sometimes you have to take that leap of faith and see what happens. And also, I would say too, I learned really the power of connection with people. So, I built my website and put that together. And then I had my one LinkedIn post where I put up the green banner that was open to amazing opportunities.
I saw that. Yeah, that was cool.
And that really, I did not expect that to kind of get the traction that it did. That one post, I feel like, was seen by 150,000 people.
Oh,
It's
wow.
crazy to me. I did not expect that kind of response. And what I also got from that were the wonderful comments that people left for me. And 90% of those comments were from people I did not know. They saw it on LinkedIn and made great comments about it. But all of that, again, not about me, it's about them. It's just like there's this community of people out there that are looking. It's hard to be a job seeker, and it's hard to be a job seeker right now. So I actually feel like people are looking for, a little bit of hope, a little bit of inspiration, and like a little bit of connection. And I feel like even now on LinkedIn, I'm starting to build this community of people that we're all kind of in the same boat. It's about nobody wants to be in. But I think it's an easier boat to be in when you know you're not alone. Yes. So I've just connected with so many great people that I didn't know before, and we're all kind of in it together and hopefully in it to win it.
Absolutely. I love that. And, a lot of times career coaching happens one-on-one, but there's something about the community aspect that you're talking about. I originally had one-on-one coaching services, which are still available, but I'm moving a lot more towards a community aspect of trying to like gather traction for a community of folks who are looking for a job at the same time, because it's so isolating to feel like, oh, I have to put myself out there. And then I heard nothing back,
Yes. So to that point, absolutely. And I feel like there's, when you're job searching, there's a whole roller coaster of emotions there. I feel like there's like some level of shame attached to that. Yes. And I really hope like what I'm doing here is kind of encouraging people to drop the shame. It's nothing to like be ashamed about, and really spin it in a positive way. Like look at the opportunities that are in front of you. And like you said, it's hard. It's hard to put yourself out there. It's hard to be rejected. So I will also say, even with my website and all the things that I'm doing, I'm getting no's. But what they say in sales, it's like every no gets you closer to the right yes. So it's just, how can you spin that? But when you have those other people that you can be connected with and be a part of a community with, I feel like you don't feel so alone in that. Other people are going through it too. And you see other people get their wins where they find the perfect match for them. And it's just kind of like that little bit of hope that at some point that will be you.
Yes. It's very much like this is okay. It's possible. Like, when you start throwing your resume at the abyss of online, right, applications and you hear nothing back, at some point you're like, is there anything on the other side? So to see that someone gets that job, you're like, okay, things happen. I'm just waiting for my number to come up. I'm just waiting for, the right fit. So have you gotten, what has been the response? What has your experience been in this job search process? How long have you been on the job hunt? What are you looking for? All the things.
Yeah. So right now, as we record this, I've been off work for almost 3 months. But I will also say that I really only officially kicked off my job search about a month ago. 1 month was just kind of wrapping my head around the fact that I was no longer employed. And I think that's normal too. I think people actually should take some time to it's a grieving process, really. Yes. So
if I can interrupt you for a second,
sure.
Do you mind? I've talked to so many people that grieving process is almost, it can be easy to not acknowledge that because it's not a person. And so you might think you don't need to grieve, but can you walk us through your process so that other people can kind of feel that this is normal?
Yeah. So it's very different when, and I love my job. So when your job is such a huge part of who you are, and then all of a sudden you don't have that anymore, it's different. And I would say my first week or so when I wasn't working, it was almost like, and people that I knew, I would talk to them and I'm like, when you take pictures and it's like, what do you do with your hands? That's how I felt like my whole first week. It was like, what do I do with my hands? What do I do with my time? I don't know what to do right now. So I think you do kind of have to feel that, go through it. Like, it's okay to feel that. And I think it's normal and it helps you heal and move on. So I think that's okay. But then I always try to just put a positive spin on it. Look at it as an opportunity. So I also made an off-work bucket list of things I wanted to do. And it was like friends I wanted to go visit with that I maybe haven't seen in a while, a few places that I wanted to go travel to, books that I wanted to read, things around my house. Like I'm going to clean out my cabinets.
Okay. Hey.
And organize the laundry room, just like things that I didn't have time to do.
Yeah.
So then it was almost like now you have like a purpose again. And here's what I'm going to be doing. And here's what I'm going to be tackling. And that was also kind of when I came up with the idea to build the website and put all of that together. And that took about a month too. I went and got my new pictures, like my new headshots taken.
They look great, by the way.
They were awesome. And I feel like that was a wonderful experience too. And what a great way to boost your confidence. I mean, just to go and have your hair and makeup done and get some pictures taken. And it makes you feel like you're getting ready for something, because we are really, if you're in a job search, you're getting ready for the next awesome opportunity. And that's kind of how I've tackled that. But I definitely think it's okay to, feel the grief and live in that for a little bit, because I think it will only make it better for that person moving forward.
And you brought up a really good point before we move on from here. You basically said in your story, you said, when I left my job, there was this purpose gap that needed to be refilled, right? Of like, what's the purpose of my time Monday through Friday? And so finding that purpose, like knowing that you have a purpose as a human apart from your job, gives you that confidence to get back out there and say, okay, and on top of my purpose, apart from my job, here's what I can contribute. And it's just difficult to do that when you're in that place of not having grieved that loss yet.
Yes. And another thing, like to add on to that, because it absolutely ties in with that. So filling the purpose. So I'm a person too that always likes to volunteer and be involved in the community. And there's always things I want to do. I don't always have time to do them. So I kind of looked at this as a chance to really dive into that. I help with the American Marketing Association in Pittsburgh. I sit on the board for my local library. And those were things I did before, but I didn't have the time really to do it to the way that I wanted to. So I really dove into those opportunities, and now I'm chairing a new committee and doing all these exciting things. But if you don't have that and you have some spare time in your job search, I would encourage people actually to look into that. I feel like there's so many places that people can volunteer and get involved. And it does a number of things. One, it fills that purpose gap that you were talking about.
Yep.
Two, it allows you to keep working on your skills. I mean, what I'm building for the library now is things that I would be able to show a prospective employer that I've done. So instead of having a career gap, it's kind of like I'm taking a purposeful pause here and I'm going to do some good. And it also allows you to help meet people. So I was at an American Marketing Association event last week, and that actually got me an interview because of the people that were there. So it's a nice way to get yourself out there, and it puts you out there in a really positive light too. Like, I'm here because I'm volunteering for X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. So you're already, sometimes there's these two buckets of people that are truly committed to the field and people that are like, I just need a job. And it automatically places you in the right bucket.
Yes. So speaking of LinkedIn and posting on there, and there's no right or wrong way to do it, but you also see a lot of people out there that are just kind of like, I need a job. I need a job. And that might be true. We all need a job. Yeah. But I feel like, again, being somebody that was the interviewer before, it's like, I don't know that I owe you a job. You're not really just because you need one. So it's always maybe lead with what you can give the company instead of what you're trying to get from the company.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I see all the time where, we're constantly sort of rephrasing things from the perspective of the employer. How does the employer want to understand your experience and all of that? So I just love everything about, friends, she has a podcast. She's got a YouTube video. I mean, all produced, a beautiful website, all created. What is it? I think you said something like you envisioned it, designed it, created it, implemented it, everything. And so you get to see every piece of your skill set, which is really, really cool. So tell me a little bit about the response that you have gotten. You've been on your career search for a little bit now. You've gotten some interviews.
Yeah.
Kind of ever so slightly switching gears here into like, how I might serve you, because you're helping me, you're helping, this amazing audience to like really understand like what happens, with the grieving process, with the marketing piece, with the career search. And so in a way for me to maybe serve you in any small way that I can, like what has been your experience? Have you gotten a lot of interviews? Like where do you think the gap might be that can help strengthen your overall career package?
Yes, absolutely. So I've gotten a very good response. I've gotten many, many messages, many invites for interviews. And what's nice about that, and I almost feel a little guilty talking about this because I know there's so many people out there that just want a interview, but that's the power of marketing and what it can do for you.
Yeah.
So some of them, and like I said, I have gotten some no's, but that's okay because it's like an interview really is a two-way street. It's like I want it to be a good fit, not just for them, but for me too.
Yes.
So the other part of this is like being a job seeker. It's like you kind of get to decide what you do next, and you can say no too. You're interviewing the company, and if it maybe isn't a good fit for you, you have the power to say no. And I know that's scary too. That's almost as scary as putting yourself out there and marketing yourself, but you're really in the driver's seat for your career. So I've had that happen. I've been told no, and I've actually also declined to move forward with some interviews. They've all been fabulous. Every company that I've talked to has been amazing, but for one reason or another, I just knew it wasn't going to be a good long-term fit. And that's really what I'm looking for too. It's like, I don't want just a job. I want something that really aligns well with my purpose, where I can grow and be developed and contribute to in a big way. So I feel like I'm looking at this the opportunity to be a little choosy and pick the best fit. And also knowing that when I do say yes to that employer, that they can feel good too. Like I picked them. It's mutual. So I guess what I'm looking for as far as where I could be helped really is just like continued networking. There's so much power in networking and just meeting different people, talking to different people, getting my name out there, not just so how people can help me, but how I can eventually help them too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So there is this, I'm not going to remember off the top of my head here, but there's a concept that a lot of folks have been using, especially at higher levels. And it's basically like you provide this proposal that is solution focused. So you would have a marketing meeting with a manager. Typically it wouldn't be the recruiter, because the recruiter has some information as to the position, but it's the manager who knows what issues they're trying to solve within their department. And so you would have a conversation with this manager, a networking conversation, to just get to know the department and ask them questions like, what are the biggest challenges that you're addressing at the moment? They're going to let you in. You might give some ideas, but really you say, okay, well, I'd really like to think about this for a little bit, but I want to get a solution back to you. And then you work up, like I know you can already do, I'm looking at your website now, you work up this beautiful presentation that's data driven. It shows your skills, the technical abilities, and you basically present them with a solution over a phone call, or at minimum a video or something, which I also know that you could do. And so that's a way for them to see how you could make an impact at their company before you're ever in their company. And a lot of times it's something that they can use even while you're going through the hiring process, or they can ask you to implement once you're hired. So it's essentially a presentation.
Yes, I love that. And again, I think maybe it comes from my Zumba teaching days, but I personally love to present. And I actually feel like if you're uncomfortable presenting, just do it, practice it, and try to find the fun in it. And if you really hate it, I know that's probably hard, but if you could make it fun. But yes, I would love to do stuff like that. And it just, again, goes back to the connection piece. So even if that job doesn't work out, after you do that, they know who you are, you know who they are. And maybe that opportunity wasn't the right fit, but you never know what the future holds. Maybe down the road, there will be a right fit there.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. And then also looking into your LinkedIn profile. I mean, really, I'm like, I need to tell people to hop onto your profile and just check it out, because you've got featured sections here where you can see part of your marketing work. Even your about section is like, hey, I'm open to work. Here's my website. I think you've got everything in here. If there is one piece that I could contribute to your already awesome messaging here, it's that managers, recruiters, everyone who's making those hiring decisions, they love seeing the scope and the results of your work in numerical values.
Mm-hmm.
So I see here that you've got, I'm a diverse business and marketing executive with strong collaborative and innovative strategy, leading key business initiatives, right? This is an excellent sentence. It's full of keywords that are going to be important for the next company that wants to hire you. However, you can be innovative in a small company of 2 employees making $30,000 a year, but you can also be innovative in a Forbes 50 company making billions of dollars. So what are some figures in this one in particular? Like it says, marketing executive, strong collaborative and innovative strategy. So tell me about some of like the biggest campaigns that you have undertaken.
Yeah. So do you want me to tell you about that now, or is that just like kind of a suggestion to go on there?
If you're open to it, let's do it.
So, I mean, I'm a little hesitant. I'm going to be honest with you about sharing like specific numbers on here. And I actually think, can we have a conversation about that? Because I actually think that's why that's not in there, because it was like, I don't know how much public information I want to give out that maybe shouldn't be public. So I guess let me ask you that, like, how do you think how did you overcome something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So at every company, there's like the secrets, right? Like the things that you don't want to share. And that's absolutely accurate. Like you don't want to share information that the company is going to go and sue you for, but you can share your results. And so, for example, on here, I can see that you've had a couple of different positions that are marketing related. And so you're not sharing what company this took place at. I'm looking at your about section right now. So it could have taken place in any number of companies that you have in your experience section. And then your focus is on the results. So for example, you might say something like, let's say innovative strategy or a marketing campaign. You might say, executed marketing campaign in excess of 2 million, whatever the amount is. I'm going to just throw out their number. So in excess of $2 million, resulting in, sale increase of 30%. So you're not necessarily sharing like the details of the company, and it is nearly impossible to be able to tell which company that was at, but you're giving those estimates that are not, how can I say this? A lot of times folks think that in order to put a number in their resume, that it has to be a number that like is on a piece of paper sitting on the desk of the HR manager who's going to be called. But really, it's an estimate just to show a future employer the scope of the work and the impact of the work that you did. So oftentimes I'll sit on the phone with folks and I'll tell them, okay, approximately how much was that? And we'll literally do calculations. Well, it was about 3 times a week and it was about $500 each transaction. So we'll do the math and we'll say, okay, estimated $30,000 a month. And so that's how we'll pull some of those numbers.
I love this. I'm so glad that we are having this conversation, because now I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, what I'm going to add to that.
Tell me.
So much of what I wrote on there was focused on my last position, just because, the closest thing, it's like front of mind, it's right there. Yeah. So that's a lot of what I was talking about. But actually, you saying, it could be from anything. I actually think what I'm going to talk about in there and the numbers that I will add in there are about my own business that I started. Because one, those are my numbers, so I can tell those to anybody. Yeah. But just how I grew that. I mean, it was my own studio. So it started with 0 customers. At the end, I had 2,000 people that had walked through the doors of my studio. And we started with just me again. But when we ended, we had about 24 to 25 employees. So I can absolutely talk about that. And actually, even just like my LinkedIn reach, like I built my own personal LinkedIn campaign that reached 150,000 people. So that's a really good tip. I'm going to add that in there. And now I feel comfortable adding the numbers in. So thank you for that.
Yes, absolutely. I love this. This is why I love what I do, as I'm sure you love what you do as well, to like uncover those little gems that you're like, oh, this small shift is going to make a world of difference, because adding those numbers in there and, I was just talking to someone about a video resume, which is very similar to what you did, right? But even than just adding those figures in there and using it as a brag sheet, less of here's what I'm looking for and what I'm excited about, and more of here's everything that I have done and I am ready to do this for you.
Yes, 100%.
I can see you in my head already, like saying, I'm going to do this at your company. And if you want this, then give me a call. Like I can just see you already doing this.
That conversation may have already happened a time or two already.
There you go. There you go. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. So you've got all this great experience. You've got several positions on here. Here's the other thing that might be helpful is oftentimes we put information from one position. We pick our most valuable accomplishments and then we put it in our about section, which is what I did for the first 5 years of my career. What I've learned, though, what makes the biggest impact is you take the accomplishments across multiple positions. So you've got several marketing positions here. So imagine that in one marketing campaign at one position, you reached a total of, 500,000 people. In another campaign at a totally different position at a totally different time, you reached 30,000. Maybe that was an earlier position. And so what you do is you add all the people that you have marketed to, and you provide that number, and you say across my career of such and such years and such positions, I have, provided marketing campaigns for an audience of up to 1.5 million people, because now it's all collective.
I love that. That's a great tip.
Yeah. So those are just some ways that I was like, let me see if I can, provide some sort of continued momentum to all the great work that you're doing. But I mean, is there any other questions that you have or anything else that you want to share with our audience of career seekers as far as like what they might do to continue to, put their name out there?
Yeah. So I think you almost just said it about continuing. So the other thing is, it's scary to put yourself out there, but I also feel like once you start, and we talk about this in marketing a lot, it's consistency in your messaging and continuing to put it out there. So I feel like if you put a post up one time on LinkedIn and says, I'm open to work and here's why you should hire me, that's great. And actually that was in, I think, my second week of like, I'm launching my own personal marketing campaign here. And I put up my open to work, and that posted very well. I feel like it reached 20,000 people and it got quite a lot of comments on it. But the key is to not stop there. So now it's like, we have to keep this momentum going. And actually my best post now to date was the following week. So it was like, if I had stopped after that one, I would have missed out on that entire huge audience that kind of came after. And I just really feel like I'm just kind of getting my stride now, and we're just getting started. So I'm excited to see what happens, but that would kind of be the tip in that, is to keep going. It's not a one and done thing. Just have that consistency in getting your message about yourself out there and keep it going.
Wow. Gosh, this has been so great. I just absolutely love chatting with you. I love like your perspective on things. I feel like you get it,
Yeah.
So I love this whole concept of like career coach and marketer kind of coming together and joining forces. But tell us a little bit, how can people connect with you? I know you've got a website, a podcast, like share all the things with us, because I do have some employers who listen in as well.
Yes, absolutely. So first of all, on LinkedIn, I would love anybody to connect with me, whether you're an employer or not. Just again, I think there is such power in community. So if you are a job seeker, maybe you're not, maybe you have a job, but I just think, if we can shine that positive light and help each other out along the way, regardless of what that looks like for you, if you're looking for a job, or if you're looking to hire somebody, or if you're just looking for, some positivity in your life, let's get connected on LinkedIn. The website that we've been talking about is www.katespeerconnect.com. That's Speer, Speer. And I just recently, with the banner post that went pretty viral, have opentoamazing.com now too. So I feel like that's going to be the start of something that it's going to be coming together. We'll be talking a little bit more about that soon, but you can also go there to connect with me, opentoamazing.com.
I love it. And all those links, including her LinkedIn profile, will be in the description for y'all. But I'm so happy we got to chat today. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. Isn't Kate amazing? It's so cool that she took her passion and her giftings, her talents, and her skills and created a website and a podcast and a video and a marketing campaign. I mean, she really inspired me. So after talking to Kate, I put together a resource to help you market your skills in ways that are brilliant, but are also quick and easy and totally manageable. So head over to the link in the description and grab this resource. It's called 10 Easy Ways to Stand Out in a Crowded Job Market. I hope this is helpful for you. And if it is, then stick around and I'll see you on the next one.